All right, Shalom. Further like to stop by sending our praise to Yahweh, by Shema Shai, by Shema Kakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. This is Cuba's drone threat sparks major concerns have to take seriously, right? And this right what you see going on right here is war and rumors of wars. Trump is making threats of going into Cuba. Cuba's making threats of using drones, and they're going to defend themselves. So I'm going to press play on this video and then add some precepts.
Reports of a potential threat to our nation from Cuba. Axios is reporting the communist island nation is buying attack drones from Russia and Iran. So far, some 300 drones. And the communist government of Cuba recently began discussing plans to potentially use those drones to attack U.S. targets, including Guantanamo Bay and possibly Key West, Florida. Here's retired Navy SEAL Mike Sorelli.
The drones are concerning one sourced by both Russia and Iran. Would Cuba make the fundamental mistake of attacking the United States? It would be their doom. For Cuba, what Trump has done is put them into a position where this regime can fall without a shot fired. We saw Maduro in Venezuela go down. Now Iran, another source of financing and material support for Cuba. They are isolated. The best scenario for them is to play ball, or they will lose this regime.
So listen to this. Cuba's foreign minister accused the United States of fabricating a, quote, fraudulent case to justify economic sanctions and potential military intervention. And this quote, Cuba neither threatens nor desires war. Here's Cuba's nightmare, though, an extreme energy crisis. Look at that.
And that be actually the case. The U.S. lies in order to infiltrate nations. You know, in order to go in and take nations down. And Trump trying to get them to reform, push to get the to push democracy in there. You know, that's how you know that the things that he's speaking of is a bunch of bullshit, man.
Their power grid has collapsed, triggering crippling blackouts. The Trump administration is aggressively pressuring the regime to reform and demanding the removal of foreign spy technology.
Sure.
And focus with me now, former Miami mayor and Cuban-American Francis Suarez. Great to have you. First of all, is it even realistic that they would hit Guantanamo Bay and other U.S. targets with those drones they bought?
It's hard to believe that even the 300 drones that they have, and I've actually seen pictures of what they look like, would have the capabilities of penetrating our air defense and actually hitting sovereign American territory. However, it's something you have to take seriously. You know that they have, and there's reports that Iranian, people have come to the country and are teaching them on their technology and how it succeeded in Iran in trying to maintain control of Hormuz and strike U.S. bases. So they're collaborating with our enemies, and they've been collaborating with our enemies, whether it's China or Russia, for decades. Remember that Russia taught Cubans how to spy through KGB training, and that China has been using Cuba as a spy base just 90 miles away. So none of this makes us feel good, and I think Secretary Rubio and his team have done an excellent job of understanding what the real threat of Cuba is. Not just military, not just spying, but also it's a threat of inculcating poverty in our hemisphere, which creates immigration pressure in the United States. If you don't like illegal immigration, you shouldn't want the current regime involved.
So that is a really interesting point. And one of the reasons I wanted to have you on today is because you have a unique understanding of Cuba. I mean, as the mayor of Miami, you had a lot of reason to keep your eye on those people who sometimes try to make their way illegally into this country via there.
Yeah, let's just say I would be persona non grata in Cuba right now with the Cuban government. My father, of course, was the first Cuban mayor of Miami. My father was the first Cuban mayor of Miami. His father was jailed by Castro, and my uncle, his brother, was killed in a Cuban jail. So we have a long history of opposing the Castro regime and the communist regimes. Why? Because we understand fundamentally that it does absolutely nothing for the Cuban people. The per capita income of Cubans is $5,000 a year. Of course, what we we've seen in the Cuban diaspora and the exile community in Miami is a community that's thriving. Miami has the lowest unemployment in America, the highest median wage growth in America. So what's happening? We've embraced American exceptionalism. We are legal immigrants to this country, and we are prospering under a capitalistic system, while Cubans are living in the dark ages, essentially, and they're being repressed.
Yeah, I mean, they have no grid. They literally are living in the dark. Real quickly, just in terms of what we face, it's not 1962 with the Cuban Missile Crisis, but 300 drones, if they aim them in certain spots and hit vulnerable targets, can do some damage. Do we go kinetic early? Do we prevent? Your quick thought on what the next steps for President Trump should be.
My quick thought is you don't send the CIA director to a country if you're not serious. I think this is part of what I call the boa constrictor strategy, where he continues to constrict and create pressure so that he can negotiate with higher leverage and then act if the opposing person or the opposing country doesn't react or doesn't make the right decision. It's very clear the strategy has been articulated and executed in Venezuela, Iran, and they're not mincing words. The CIA director said by social media, do not make the same mistake that Venezuela made. He said it in his own words. So I don't think that they're hiding the ball. They've been very transparent about their strategy, and they've been very successful in creating generational peace and prosperity for our country.
Francis Suarez in the focus today. Thank you and welcome to the Fox family as a new Fox News contributor.
Right, and as you can see, since he is Cuban, which is Manasseh, according to the Bible, he'll sell out. You see, he kept throwing his sign up, the sellout pyramid sign. You know, motherfuckers like him gonna be put to death for selling their own people out. And then the U.S. always using the same tactics to lie, to get the people to side with them so they can go in and take down other nations. But this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 6, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. This is a rumor of war as of now. Because they say they're going to retaliate and shoot drones upon various places that the U.S. own. You know, so it's a rumor of war right now. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right, we're getting closer and closer to the end, though. And now you people get to see that this white man, Manasseh, get to see that this white man is the devil. So okay, I'm missing the S. You got to be precise with this one. This is Job chapter 13, verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies. The U.S. government is always lying, justifying their reason they're going to take down nations and to push democracy. And democracy is against the Bible. Hence the reason why this place is going to be destroyed. And, you know, but it says, ye are all physicians of no value. Right, and the physician is supposed to bring value to you, healing to you, but they don't have that type of spirit, man. This is Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. Right, Esau got the power to bring his devices to pass, to bring, come up with these lies and bring to pass regime change in countries. You know, like they said, Cuba messes with China and Russia, and they've been on this whole China and Russia is the number one threats against the U.S. government. Hence, that's one can be more than likely one of the reasons why they even fucking with Cuba the way they are. And then the Cubans are Israelites anyway, so of course they're gonna, try to come down on them and bully them, But yeah, they trying to force regime change. They want them people to rise up against their government because they've been in the dark for a long time now, and that's the elite's agenda. They have the resources to do that, to bring that to pass. The second Ezra chapter 8 verse 50, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the later time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Right. You see that them Cubans, the Manassites, is going through miseries because they're not turning to Yahweh Shema Shai. They turn into Fidel Castro. Who was that? I think there's a son in office. They're turning to their presidents. They're turning to their idols and their gods and whatnot, other than the Lord. They turn to the U.S. government other than the Lord, man. And that's a condemnation unto them, man. That's why they're going through what they're going through. Damn, what is it called? Let me see. This is a good one for this, too. This is Sirach 11:14. Prosperity and adversity. So they going through adversity, and they always been going through adversity through the U.S. sanctions and U.S. coming down upon them. Life and death, and they ain't saying about it. See, I had to do some more research, but I haven't seen anything as of yet that didn't say that people have passed away due to these sanctions. Because these sanctions stop a lot of and the fuel blockade stop a lot of fuel, and you need fuel for your daily life and everything they do over there, man, to keep the hospitals running, to keep the food good, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, man. So I'm gonna do some a little more in-depth studies, because to see what's going on. But this is a letter to you Manassites. Y'all got to get right with the Lord so that y'all can endure what's going over there, and eventually our captivity is going to be turned over, and we're going to rule over our oppressors, and we're going to do them just the same way they did us times infinity for 1,000 years, and the rest of the heathen going to remain tributaries after that. Esau going to go into slavery for 1,000. The heathen going to be in slavery as well, but the heathen going to remain tributaries after we annihilate, obliterate, eradicate, get rid of all the Edomites. The Edomites is the so-called white people according to the Bible. Sirach chapter 11 verse 14, prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. Right. So you see that what they're going through is from Yahweh Shema Shai. So they can't do nothing but go with it. And that's eventually gonna come over here to America as well. We gonna have the spiritual power to make it dark only upon them, like how the Lord protected Israel and Egypt from various plagues and things, and it just fucked with the heathen. We're gonna have that type of power in the near future. This is Ezekiel chapter 21 verse 27. I will overturn it, and it shall be no more until he come whose right it is, and I will give it him. Overturn. Nations have had their chances to rule in various societies since the beginning of time. We are at the end of the nations, which are the heathens, rulership. This is the last heathen that's going to rule is this white man that's ruling right now. And then it's going to be our rule, the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and we're going to rule forever. It's forever. The kingdom of heaven is for the Israelites to rule forever and have the nations as servants unto us, tributaries unto us, except the Edomites. They get 1,000 years, and then they get their ass deleted. So be on the lookout for that. It's coming. It's right. We at the door. You Manassites that's over there, they got the truth. That's pray to the Lord, read the scriptures. Do what you can so that you can be protected, because with all that shit going on over there, Jake and the Wicked, motherfuckers be trying to kill you and eat you, or whatever the case may be. The Brazilians did they have blackouts? I can't remember, but the Brazilians went through some similar shit. If they didn't go through blackouts, they had to eat rotten meat, then they started eating people and eating each other, and then they took that shit out the media, you know? So, you know, this devil gonna get it though, so don't worry about it. Ezekiel 21 and 27 again. I will overturn it, and it shall be no more until he come whose right it is. It's our right, and it's getting closer to being turned over into our hands, and I will give it him. You know, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end it. Shalom. Please don't tell me to see and then fucked up my video.